Zoom. But welcome both of you guys to the Color Up Conversation. I'm glad you could join us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, Portlynn, for submitting They Won't Last. We really enjoyed your film. It's a phenomenal film. You guys did an excellent job. Bravo to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's cool. Well, let's get into it. So, Portlynn, why don't you tell the audience about your film, They Won't Last?
So this film is me and Rich's AFI thesis short film. It is a story about a couple that go to a friend's wedding, and well, really it's about Christine, who goes to her boyfriend's friend's wedding, and he takes that as kind of like a sign of inspiration to then that night propose to her. He is very pro relationships and marriage, and she is very anti those things, so it's kind of like will they, won't they. He proposes to her. She is like, I don't want to do this, and essentially he gives her the ultimatum of either we get engaged or we break up. The opening of the film, so the whole film is very dialogue heavy, and so what I wanted to do with the opening of the film was kind of just set up everything without any dialogue, so it plays out like almost like a music video. I found this amazing song. What I like to do whenever I'm putting together a film is I like to make like a fake soundtrack, and we ended up getting the rights to the song, so you get to hear this like lovely 1960s melodic tune, and we're kind of setting up this perfect wedding until we see Christine, and then we finally meet Alex. We actually, when we were shooting it, we weren't sure if we should shoot it slow motion, because we were like, oh my gosh, this is taking so long, and then it's going to be in slow motion, and like, should we just shoot this normally? So we actually, for like a couple of the takes, we shot it in slow motion, and then we would shoot it in real time. And then we realized we were eating up the day. And so it was like, we're just going to do slow motion and we're just going to see if it works. And I'm very happy with it.
It was excellent. It was really, really good. That was one of my favorite parts was the beginning. It was done very, very meticulously. It was very nice.
Thank you.
You guys did a good job.
Thank you.
He said, thank you. You made sure of that, right, Richard?
Yes, yeah, no, it was definitely a team effort from start to finish, and it was just a privilege to help Portlynn bring her vision on screen. So it was definitely fun on set and during the development process.
So I was looking at some of your bio. I see you're a Wolverine.
Yes, go blue. But yes, I graduated from University of Michigan back in 2017. I majored in communication studies and minored in screen arts and culture, which is essentially film history and film study. So during that time, I definitely grew fond of the film and television atmosphere, and definitely wanted to learn more and to become both a creative but also just a facilitator within producing. So that's where AFI brought me in, and that's where Portlynn and I met.
Okay, Brittany. So tell me about yourself and how you came to They Won't Last?
Just the pretty standard way that an actor gets a job, just a good old-fashioned audition. And when I first read the material, it's what really drew me in. We, as actors, go out on a lot of auditions, and sometimes the material just isn't that exciting, and it's our job to make it exciting. And sometimes that can be a little difficult. But when I read Portlynn's material, it immediately clicked, and I knew exactly what to do with Christine. It was exciting. It was interesting. There were well-developed characters, and I couldn't wait to become a part of it.
Yeah, you did a phenomenal job. I really must say that. I mean, everything came in across the finish line like around the same time. The acting, the cinematography, the directing, everybody finished around the same time. And you and the gentleman, your co-star, you guys did a phenomenal job. You had great chemistry. I really enjoyed that. And you look completely different now than then. I mean, of course, you don't have the tissue in your nose like you did then. But yeah, you did a great job. Excellent job. Bravo.
That means a lot.
Oh yeah, you did it. You nailed it. And one of the things I wanted to mention, and maybe it's in one of the clips. I don't know which clips you have, but there's a scene where you take the Xanax, and I was thinking like, okay, so she's been drinking all night. She's taking she's taking Xanax. Like anything could happen at this point.
Crapshoot. You don't really know what's gonna happen next.
And the thing about it, I love how you took it in a very sitcom-y way. You just you took them like M&Ms. You just kind of do like the M&M thing there.
She doesn't care at that point. She's not measuring pills. She's just going.
Clearly.
Herself out of the situation.
Clearly, she has no cares in the world about what could happen.
Hey, he's gonna take care of her. If she's gotta go to the hospital, she can always count on him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Every time that part plays, the entire audience is always like, "Oh, no." Yeah.
I'm sure they are, because she's eating M&Ms at that point, or Tic Tacs.
I mean, it's concerning, but I think that's what makes it funny.
Christine, what are you doing?
Nothing. You have a ring, don't you?
I don't.
Oh my God, you do!
I don't. I honestly don't.
Alex?
You need to lie down. You need to lie down. This is bad for your nose, okay? Just calm down. You need to lay down.
Oh my God. God, ever since we got back from your brother's baby shower last month, you've been acting super weird. Just sending flowers to my work, and then all those weird hints about how nice Hawaii is in the fall. I know Hawaii is nice in the fall. It's Hawaii. Unless there's an active volcano, it's nice. Do you want a Xanax? Fine. Seriously, what is going on? I thought we agreed we were not going to talk about marriage anymore.
Now, does that put you to sleep, or what does Xannies do?
Truth be told, I've never done Xanax before.
Oh.
I think it's an anti-anxiety.
Who's a Xanax expert?
I like, to be very honest, I put it in the script because it was funny. Like, I think it's an anti-anxiety medication.
It is an anti-anxiety, so it must put you to sleep then.
Yeah, something
I know
should chill you out.
Calm you down.
Calm you down, right,
really,
right.
I think Christine's on a whole nother level, and I don't think that it really worked for her.
Yeah.
No, even though she took multiple Xanax, it didn't calm her down. But eventually it makes her a little excitable. I mean, you kind of know this is going to end up in some sloppy sex, I think. I mean, at least I did. I'm like, this. It can only go one way. Either she's going to throw up and die, or they're going to end up having sloppy sex. They're going to have makeup sex, basically, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Right, Richard? Like we've all been here before.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight like cats and dogs, and then we're gonna have makeup sex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I thought so. But all the broken noses, I was surprised by that. I thought that was a nice little wrinkle. Everybody's busting their nose.
I think it shows how much they really do love each other at the end when they kind of do have the sloppy sex. I mean, they're fighting, they're almost breaking up, but there is real love there, and you definitely see it at the end.
Yeah.
So what were the rehearsals like? I mean, how much? It seems like a lot of choreography between the camera and the actors. How much rehearsal was happening here?
So this was actually felt so cool with this. So like, again, students, I actually worked in animation before this, and I had never been on set until coming to AFI. And was very lucky that we shot our film in March, because I had the chance to take a class about blocking, and they were like really just like helpful in terms of like talking about what your process should be. And we have a very limited amount of days, we had a limited budget, and so I was like, should I go to this hotel room and just like block it? And like, it's going to cost me like personal money, but like, maybe I should just do it. And they're like, yes, do it. So before, I think it was like before we had even cast you and Jack, I had gone to the hotel, or it might've been while we were casting, I had gone to the hotel with our DP Delaney and 2 actors from backstage who just volunteered to hang out in a hotel with strangers. Ooh. And memorize lines. And I was like, these angels. So they came, we rearranged the furniture in the hotel. I paid for the night, so I slept there. But like, so we just went, rearranged the furniture. I like got them up there, and we just kind of like workshopped the entire film, because mostly it just takes place in the whole hotel room. And Delaney had a red camera, and then like her back started hurting, so then we transitioned to like a phone, and we just shot it as if we were going to shoot the movie, and we like messed around with blocking. And I working in animation, I did storyboards. Mm-hmm. So a combination of having done that footage, edited it together, and then I storyboarded parts that we didn't get, or I storyboarded the whole opening. And then you guys were cast, and I rented the hotel room again, and we never did blocking during the days of shooting, really, because we had blocked together like 3 days before shooting. So we went there, and we just kind of went over the entire movie. And Delaney kind of like, we talked about like where the camera might be and everything, and then we did that. And then I think, oh yeah, and the Steadicam operator came with us. So he came, and he kind of like watched what the blocking would be, and we workshopped like his ability to do certain positions with it. He's a larger guy, and so like, could he handle that and whatever. And so when we were actually shooting, we didn't have to like do any figuring out of the blocking. We just kind of like did the blocking for all the departments, and it made things so much easier. I'm so glad that we did that.
That was great. That's a great story. So your actors just kind of, did you show it to them? Did you show them what you had done?
I don't know. I think I kind of like acted it out for you guys a little bit, right? I can't remember. But then like we did some workshopping too, where like while we were figuring it out, like you guys were making your own suggestions, and we kind of like, it kind of evolved with that. And so finally, by the time that had happened, we made some adjustments as well.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty like natural progression that happens on set, is you go in with one idea, and sometimes you tweak it here and there, and it just kind of happens throughout the process. And especially as you get to know the characters more, like what would they do? Would she move like this? Would she go over here? Would she stay here? So it's just that all kind of comes into play as you do it, and that's part of the fun.
How much prep time did you have, Brittany?
We did a rehearsal at the AFI campus before we even got to the hotel, which was really nice. You don't usually get that opportunity as actors to do a lot of rehearsal before actually shooting. So it was a good opportunity to get to know Jack, to get to know Portlynn, Richard, and build that camaraderie with each other. And the more you know each other, the more smooth the process goes on set all the time, no matter what. So that was a great advantage that we had. And then we did the blocking rehearsal as well. And then a lot of it, like Portlynn said, we kind of finished tweaking on the day.
So everything is pretty much on the day. Is that what you're saying, or it was 2 days?
I think the emotional rehearsal we did a lot of on campus, and then a lot of the blocking was just that one specific day that was set aside for blocking rehearsal. And then on the days of shooting, we pretty much knew exactly where we were going to go, but little things here and there would be tweaked. What clothes she's going to grab when she's putting the packing up the suitcase. Is she going to cross to his left or to his right? Those little things you just kind of tweak on the day. But for the most part, we knew what we were doing going into it, which was really helpful.
Yeah, it looked flawless. I mean, you are falling flawlessly. How about that?
Thanks. Yeah, and it was a really small space to be working in too. So I mean, everyone really knew exactly where they needed to be, and we didn't really run into any hiccups with that. It was pretty seamless.
Yes, it was pretty seamless. So Richard, explain to the audience what your job as a producer was on this project?
So during this project, on top of just collaborating with Portlynn and the cast and the rest of the team, I was also in charge of managing the budget with my line producer, Mayor Azrin, as well as my production coordinator, Greg Schrader. We communicated with each other in terms of making sure that the permits were filed and approved on time, or better way in advance, and as well as finding the money. Portlynn and I and the rest of the team, we coordinated fundraisers. For one of the fundraisers was during November and December. That was at the hotel that we shot at, and that was a huge success. Portlynn came to me in regards to like how we wanted to organize it. We had it like a comedy and an art silent auction for her work, as well as her past colleagues with their special projects that were submitted for our auction. And in that night, we raised $3,000, $4,000.
So we raised $5,000, but the location cost $2,000.
Nice. So you made a profit.
Yeah. We definitely we also saved some money here and there in terms of reserving the ballroom, for instance, because there was another person who reserved it, but fortunately for us, they canceled it. So we managed to set up everything once we were done with the hotel room scenes. So, but yeah, other than that, just being a part of that development process as Portlynn was writing out the script and just understanding where she wanted to direct the story and how she wanted to make sure that the characters were where she wanted them to be, how they should feel, especially during the fight scene between the argument, with in the hotel room.
Okay. Now, were you guys paired or were you selected?
We actually we spoke. So after at AFI, there was a day where the directors or the writers or anyone who wanted to make their own thesis film had a pitch day. So during that time, I saw Portlynn present her idea for her thesis project, and I just connected with it, not in the sense like just as a hopeless romantic, because I understood where Alex was coming from. But other than that, it was just it was definitely a project that needed to be seen. And it was definitely something that is relevant in the dating world that we know today, and how we communicate in terms of commitment and in terms of what we expect from each other, and how that has changed from other generations before. So we definitely did a lot of film study with How Harry Met Sally and Barefoot in the Park, and how that inspired the film that where it is today.
This was going to be, you know, romantic and magical, but okay. Look, I know it's only been 2 years, and I know you don't believe in this kind of thing, but we don't have to make those mistakes, okay? We don't have to make any mistakes, because we'll have each other. My whole life, I've been searching for the one, you know, the person who would complete me, make my life mean something, and I did. It's you. The moment I saw you, I knew. I was like, that's the one. Look, I see that you're scared. I'm scared too. But love is scary. You know, life is scary. But I want to spend the rest of this scary life with you. I love you. I love you so much. So, please, will you please, Christine, make me the happiest man on earth and marry me?
Did you know that 42% of marriages end in divorce?
I'm done.
Done.
So
Every man wants to hear 42% of marriages end in divorce.
It's real. Actually, it's 50.
Is it 50?
It's actually
No, I mean, but he didn't get on his hands and knees. He didn't get on his knees though. So that's the you know, that's where all the heart starts to flutter. You got to get on your knee and propose.
absolutely. Unfortunately, all of his romance was completely lost on Christine.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, it's a wonderful romantic comedy. I'm sure. What kind of response have you got? I'm sure it's all been very positive.
Oh, it's been overwhelmingly. It's just been. We won the college television award for best comedy, which is just been like,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get my statue in the mail, but they haven't.
Excellent.
I
Excellent.
want a picture of that when you get it, girl.
What other festivals did you win, or what other awards did you win?
Oh, we were in the Prague International Film Festival, and I think I had got Best Student Female Director. We won like any romantic comedy award for like most of the festivals that we were in. We would get that one typically, and then we were in Pensacola Comedy Festival, and we got, I think, Best Romantic Comedy and Best Director. Both Jack and Brittany have been nominated for Best Acting, I think at the Gold Movie Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, it's just been really great. We're gonna be in the New Filmmakers LA this upcoming in a few weeks actually, and then there's a few more, but we're in your festival, so we're just happy.
Yeah, you're happy. So this is your second. You did 2019, and then 2020 obviously has been all about COVID. So this would be your third year. Next year will be your third year with this run of They Won't Last, right?
I guess technically, yeah, because we were in our first festival, I think, like September or August of 2019.
19, right?
Yeah.
Right. That was like your first one back in September.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Well, good. You guys are jamming. I mean, we're gonna get out of this, and everything's gonna get back to normal, hopefully.
I hope so.
Right. Exactly. So I want to ask you, Brittany, in your character arc, where are you and your future fiance? How'd you guys meet?
How did we meet?
In your character arc, how'd you guys meet?
How did we meet? I think we discussed this on our little bit of our
We
work.
improv'd this.
Yes, we did. What did
Yeah.
you say?
I think you guys played around with the idea of having met at like a record shop.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you were talking about music.
Yes. I remember I know how they end up together. I had that in my head, but yeah, I think meeting at a record shop sounds like a good place for them to meet.
A record shop. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everyone likes music. It's a pretty general place.
You know what's really interesting like that, and it kind of, I guess, speaks to, I'm assuming he's like about 35. And he probably would have caught the tail end of actual record shops, because there really are no more record shops when you think about it.
They're both a little bit, I don't know, bougie, I guess you could say. And
Bougie.
it's like the record shop is like a hipster type of vibe.
Okay, I got you. Like a coffee record shop sort of kind of thing.
I can totally see getting there. I think afterwards I like to think that one day down the road they do get married, but they don't have a big production of a wedding. I think that they do have so much love for each other there. And she's very anti getting married. She's a feminist through and through, but he wants it so much. It means so much to him, and she does love him so much. And so I like to think that one day they had a cute little courthouse ceremony, or they went and eloped somewhere. But I don't think that they would have done a big whole wedding production. Christine would never have done that. And
right. He really kind of he, like you said, he does love her, but he kind of dumps on her a little bit.
Oh, big time.
What? I mean, he is drunk though. So let's say he's drunk.
Yeah, not as drunk as she. I mean, he's drunk, but he's just
pretty sober.
Yeah, he's had it with her shit. She's just being a jerk and being insensitive. And I think, he just laid out all this romantic, this big romantic speech about how much he loves her. And she just didn't care and was so closed off and so insensitive to his feelings. So I think that really, really hurt him. And so he lays into her pretty hard.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you kind of can't blame him. And that's what couples do when they fight.
They do. That's true.
And sometimes there's some below the belt comments, but I think that at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love each other. They just need to understand each other better, fight a little bit better. And but yeah, I do think that they're a cute couple at the end of the day.
They're already fighting like a married couple. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, just get married. You're already there.
Just do the deed already. But I think the irony, Portlynn, is that, and I guess this is a spoiler alert, is that on one side of the wall is the actual married couple, right? And they're already kind of in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And then on the other side of the wall is these two kind of goofballs who are actually really in love and really, doing the real marriage thing.
Yeah. I think Christine has a pretty good idea of like what a good couple is. Like she knows that Talia and Jonathan are not going to last. She knows that's an unrealistic relationship, and she saw what happened with her parents, and so I think she knows when something's not working. And it's not that her and Alex aren't working, it's just that they're on different levels commitment wise,
Right.
And they might just have some things to work out in the future. That's how I thought, but I think it's open to interpretation.
You don't think she's being a hater when she says that what was it? Oh boy, somebody slept with somebody's cousin. She slept with an old boy's cousin.
I think she's speaking the truth. She's like, listen, Talia told me this. I don't know why she told me this, but she told me this.
Right, because I can't hold water in a cup. I'm just going to tell everybody.
Like, I didn't have this information, but I have it. And
I can't wait to tell somebody.
Yeah. To get this off my chest.
Get this off my chest. Right? Give me a microphone. I'll just put it in the mic. She's just classic. She's a hot mess. She's a hot mess.
Hot mess express is what she is.
Yes. And that's what he said. He basically says that to her, right? Like, you're a hot mess, but I love you.
Yeah. And I think that that's so beautiful because we're all hot messes at some point.
That is true.
None of us are perfect, and she's just being the most. Like, this is like not a good moment for her. She is not putting on a good show, and he's still
But
anyway. And I think
I love how like sometimes, so when we had to do some kind of like reviews internally at the school, and everyone was just like, he's so mean to her. He's just so mean to her. And I was like, yeah, he thinks
this is all the guys are saying this, right?
No, the girls. The girls were just like, he's so mean. Like, I don't like him anymore. And I was just like, but that's the point, is that like, he's a nice guy, but like, he loves her and he's trying to tell her all these things. Like, you know, like in so many romantic films are just like, you're so sloppy and I love you. And they're like, you love me, you know, like he's like telling her all like, I notice that you like your coffee this way and the way you smile, and but it's like all the horrible things that she does. Yeah. And he thinks he's being romantic, and like it's not working. And I really loved that, because I think that's like at least my experience with like how any relationship is, like not even just like romantic, like me and my family members, me and my best friends, we know the dumb things about each other, and sometimes in the heat of the moment we want to be like, you do this thing all the time and like I wish you would stop, but like it doesn't matter because I still care about you. Like out of anyone in the world, like you're the person I choose all the time. Yeah. But I like that. I don't know. It's more honest to me because everyone sucks.
There's no name calling, you know. It's not like it's like a weird, he's definitely trying to get at her and her feelings a little bit, but I don't think it ever reaches a point where you're like concerned for her, or he's like, you know, emotionally abusive in any way. I think he's just being a jerk, and he's trying to like get at her and say some mean shit. And you know, and that's real life. Like that happens sometimes. And then you apologize and you have sex and you make up and you know, you move on.
Start all over again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I told you ages ago I didn't want to get married, and you agreed. My career is way too important to me, and I'm not going to spend my time being Little Miss Housewife so you can make mommy proud.
Oh, come on. You know why you won't marry me? It has nothing to do with your career, whatever that means. It's because you're a coward. You're afraid that one day I'm going to magically wake up and all of a sudden I'm going to realize that behind all your independent woman, artist bullshit, you're a nobody. You're a 30-year-old intern working at some nowhere art gallery in some strip mall in Schaumburg. Here's what you don't get. I don't care. I already know you're a fuck up, okay? I already know that you can't spell for shit, and that you drink way too much, and that you have terrible taste in literally everything. You'll never be some famous painter, sculptor, whatever.
I know who you are. And I chose you.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for choosing me. What was it? A nobody fuck up like myself. That's really what you think of me? You think I'm just some pathetic loser that you keep around just to make you feel better about yourself, make you feel like a man? Oh, Alex, help me. I'm dumb.
What was the inspiration behind the female character?
Oh, okay. This is a fun story. So actually this whole film is based on an experience I had with my neighbors. So I was living on my own, and I was recently single from my first relationship ever. And I was very lonely, but my neighbors kept having a lot of sex at like 3 a.m. And they would have like really loud, like explicit sex. Like her name was Lauren, his name was Emil. She was a 30-year-old intern. He was a 25-year-old doctor. Nice. And they were like in hate love with each other. And like I made these characters a lot more likable than they were. They were awful. But they would have sex at 3 a.m. where they would like describe what they were doing while they were doing it, and then they would have like And then they would have like, they would proceed to then afterwards have the longest, most like petty, childlike argument about like she was deleting text messages off of her phone, and he was like, babe, why are you doing this? She's like just like I'm losing memory, I'm like adding more space to my phone, and it's just like you're texting a different guy. It was just like really crazy. He would find jewelry of hers, and she's like, oh, my friend gave me that too. Ryan's like a friend from work. Like, it was just really crazy. And then so like that inspired a lot of this. Actually, I wanted to make this film because of them. And then I actually live with my best friend, and we fun fact, we like have shared a room for the last 5 years. Like, we're high school best friends. We've been sharing a room for 5 years to save on rent. She's like kept going on, and we're essentially a married couple. And like there was like a period in time where like she's very successful, but there was a period of time where she was feeling kind of down about like her path. And she read the script many times, and she knows that a lot of it's inspired by like arguments that we had, or like, you know, she has a nut allergy. So a lot of the character of Christine is kind of inspired by, you know, my best friend, me, and like I have a very interesting kind of perception of like relationships, very similar to Christine, and then this horrible woman that I've never seen her face. So that was kind of the inspiration.
Wow, that it sounded like you were actually sitting in the room with them while they were, you know, everything is so crystal clear for you. You like, or you have paper thin walls. Which one was it? It was paper thin walls. Right? Paper thin
I
walls.
was very lonely and bored. Yeah. And I used to like transcribe. I actually brought Rich. You remember this, right? Like, I had my journal because I lived by myself. I had like no one to talk to, so I would like diary everything I did that day.
Yeah.
And there were like, yeah, right. There's like there were pages where like they were yelling. It was the middle of the day, and like this, I tried to put this in the script, but like it didn't work out. Where Christine, the real girl, Laura, and she was like, he was saying like, forgive my language. He was like, you're a slut, and all my friends think you're a slut, and I should have listened to them, and you're nobody. And she just starts like yelling over him, but like in this juvenile kind of like singing song to like, it's just say it. I'm a 30-year-old intern. He's like, yeah, you are. You're a nobody. And it was
Oh my God.
and I was just like listening and writing. I was like, I'm a 30-year-old intern. Yes, you are.
So they're doing it for you, basically, right? You're just transcribing.
Dude, yeah, they were crazy. And then they filed a noise they were like arguing so loud I would bang on the wall like when I just couldn't take it anymore, and I would go like, right, like 4 a.m. That's a normal thing to do to people. And they would like stop for a second, and then I would hear.
So petty.
I know, and that I didn't really bang on the wall that often, and I never called a noise complaint because they felt like people that would retaliate, and they also felt like people, like I also didn't really want them to stop because it was very entertaining, but like I did want them to stop. But then when they moved out before I moved out of that unit, and they filed a noise complaint against me because they were awful people.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
But I was like,
do you have a movie yet?
no, they're somewhere out there, like not knowing that they were the inspiration for this. But
I don't think they're together. Do you?
Oh God! Like my original conception of this was like 2 people that shouldn't be together who are together, but then like they ended up being so like the chemistry worked so well that everyone's like, they stay together, right? I'm like, yeah. I hope that the reason why like they were so inspiring to me was that like they obviously shouldn't have been together.
Right.
And the whole year I was living in that apartment, they just stayed together, like through like her car got broken into, and she came back home, like she like left to go drive to work, came back upstairs and was like, Emil, my car got broken into. And he's like, oh no. and, and she's like, what are you gonna do about it? And he's like, I can't do it. I don't know. And she like went back downstairs and came back up, and he was still asleep. He's like, Emil, you're still asleep? He's like, what do you want me to do? She's like, you guys need to break up. What is happening?
Right, exactly.
And I was just so fascinated by how they wouldn't. And I was like, I bet that I was so lonely. Like, I was so lonely, I was listening to voicemails on my phone alone in my house at 8 p.m. I was like, remember when people used to call me?
Oh, wow. I've heard that about LA, that it can be lonely.
It was the first year I'd lived in LA, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was just like, there's so much nightlife, but I didn't feel comfortable doing nightlife by myself. I had to like finally force myself to like go to shows alone and like do a lot of stuff. But that was a time I couldn't. So I was like, wow, they would rather be unhappy together, like so unhappy, as opposed to being like me, who is just desperately alone in my apartment eating salad and watching Criterion films. Like,
so there's more irony.
It's okay, I'm fine now. I have like 5 roommates. It's okay.
Follow you now, Portlynn.
I know. But
well, you're good now, Portlynn. You're great now. You got the film. They inspired you, right? You made it through the storm, and now it's sunny days.
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote songs about them. I'm glad that happened. Like, they inspired a lot for me for some reason. But yeah.
Okay. Now, Brittany, before we wrap it up, just tell me, what have I seen you in anything else, and what else you got going on?
Yeah, there's a movie out right now called Go Back to China. It's available on iTunes. I did a good spot in that with Anna Ankana. She's the lead. Emily Ting's directing. So that's the most recent thing I've worked on. But yeah, I'm just waiting for the industry to open back up, which I can't wait for. Get back out there, go on some auditions, and do what I love to do again. It's been sad the last few months not having that creative outlet again. So I'm excited to get back into the swing of things.
Well, you did an excellent job, and I'm sure you have a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you, Floyd.
Absolutely. And Richard, what's up next for you?
Currently, right now, I am developing this sneakerhead short film with a few friends of mine called Deadstock. It's about a sneakerheads trying to corner the market during the biggest sneaker drop of the year. So I thought it would be something, a fun activity and a fun project to work on with my friends during this time. But right now, I'm just really communicating with a lot of my mentors and definitely learning more about the industry as it opens up.
Okay, good deal. And Portlynn, finally, what's going on with you? What you got coming up next?
I'm currently writing a feature based on this. When I was in the 6th grade, my mom got really sick and had to go to the ICU, and I spent my first Christmas with my 6th grade teacher. And it's kind of like about that. My mom was in a wheelchair when I was growing up, and it was kind of like my first time having a real Christmas, but like with this stranger who ended up kind of like saving me from foster care. So I'm writing that, and then I just wrote a pilot kind of based on my experiences kind of living with my best friend. Like we don't just share a room, we've shared a bed for 5 years, and we were like not in a romantic relationship at all. And like,
it was a queen bed though.
It's a queen. It is a queen. We're queens. But like, but it's kind of like about how we, our relationship is it's very much like a married couple, except we're not. And it's, I really love how, like, I don't know, I say it's like Girls meets, it's kind of like a cross between like Girls and Insecure with like a very diverse range of perspectives on like what it means to live in LA and stuff like that. So I've been writing that, and then I'm currently working in animation again at Netflix Animation, and I'm just like so glad that I got to have this job opportunity right before the pandemic happened, because I still get to work and be creative and stuff. But I am excited for when like production can get back in the swing of things and maybe work on some more shorts or do like a proof of concept for my pilot that I wrote.
Good job. Good job. Well, again, you did an excellent job. Bravo and kudos to all you guys.
Thank you.
Good job. Thanks for joining me this evening. And we look forward to meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Same.
For having us.
All right.
Thank you so much. All right.
Yeah. Good to see you guys.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.